Hey friends, this is Stina and you are listening to Brand Well with Stina, the podcast to jumpstart your week, renew your mind, and support your personal and business growth. I am a marketing and brand strategist and coach, entrepreneur, and just your overall business BFF. My mission is to help you master the wellness of you and your business. And on today's episode, I want to talk to you about this little tricky phrase that we often say to ourselves, and that's, I knew it. See, I knew it. I knew this would happen. I knew this would happen to me. Does that phrase sound familiar to you? For years, it was like this old familiar tune of mine that I referred to any and every disappointment that came my way. I didn't get the call back from the job interview. I knew I wouldn't get it. Or I didn't get the call back after the first date. You know what? I knew that person wasn't going to like me, or I knew that this was going to turn out to be this way. Regardless of the issue, it was like, my boss doesn't like me. I didn't get the promotion. I didn't win the award. My best friend hurt my feelings. You know, the result was always, I knew it. That's always the way it is. I knew it. When I was younger, I used to listen to records. Yes, like good old-fashioned vinyl records. And every once in a while, one of the records would have like a scratch, you know, which basically meant that there was a groove in the record where the needle would get stuck and it couldn't move its way out. And so like a particular song would just repeat over and over because the groove, you know, it's stuck, almost like a CD, I guess, right? And this basically is like an oversimplified way to explain how the brain works. My thought pattern was stuck in a groove and it was repeating that statement. I knew it. I knew it. I knew I was going to fail, right? And I really can't say what came first in my story. Like, I don't know if the depression is what caused the needle to get stuck in that pattern of negative thoughts, or if it was the pattern of negative thoughts that caused a depression. A friend of mine asked me recently, like, Stina, what happened? How was it that you had this depression for so many years? You know, did something happen to you? Were you genetically like predisposed? What was your environment? Like, what were you thinking? And my answer to her was, yes. All of that, right? Like it was all of that. And when I hit like real rock bottom, like when I hit rock bottom, I just knew I had to do something. I knew that there was something that I had to do to get out of it. And I thought like, you know, I have to figure out how to get that record needle out of the groove, right? Out of this repeated negative pattern. I had to figure out how to get the record needle out of the groove once and for all. And I took a close look at the enormous set of tools that I had acquired throughout my life's search for happiness and fulfillment. And as it turned out, I had been sitting on like this gigantic toolbox just filled with answers. I have shelves of books on every topic from like stress relief to debt relief. I have articles and worksheets filled with keys to mental health and financial wealth, right? Like I have so much stuff, like whether overcoming like alcohol addiction or spiritual affliction. That rhymed. I like that. But anyways, I had the answers, but I just hadn't applied them. Or maybe I just hadn't applied them consistently, right? And it's like, I'm going to use the metaphor. It's like if you want to build a new house, the hammer and nails don't do any good if they're locked in the toolbox that you never open, right? And it's like, the good news for most people is that they're not starting from like such a deep pit, right? You're probably not in a dark pit of despair like I was. So that means that the road to success and happiness, it can be a much straighter line, right? Than it was for me. It was a little bit more difficult for me to pull myself out of that pit. And when I did, I started to develop habits in my life that not only relieved me of depression, but led to my success in multiple areas of my life, including my career, my business, my finances, and like my relationships, right? And success is an elusive word because it can mean different things to different people, right? To some, it means having healthy family and loving relationships. To some, it means achieving business and financial goals. And to others, it means personal growth and staying true to one's spiritual belief, right? But for me, it was all of the above. I always have like these habits to happiness. And one was acceptance, but the other was expectance, right? So many years ago, I had a job that I just couldn't take, right? I had outgrown my position and I had been trying desperately to like either move up in the organization or like move to another organization. And neither scenario was happening for me. And my record needle was stuck in the groove of, I cannot take this. Like, this sucks, right? And things just started to feel worse every day by day. Things just started to feel worse until one morning I was listening to like somebody on Power 105, like the Breakfast Club. And they were like, you have to get up every day and expect great things to happen to you. And I was like, that sounds good, right? Like, let me just give it a try. And so after day one, it didn't really seem that anything great had happened to me. So I started thinking about like, well, what does great really mean? And I found myself starting to look hard for those like quote unquote great things. And I started to develop a habit of expectancy. I'm struggling over this word, but it's how I feel, right? Like, so the expectation, right? And so one day I was walking down the hallway at work and I was passing by some people. I was like, wow, these people are pretty great. And I love these people that I work with. And I was like, it's pretty great that I get to work in a place where I just get to see people who I enjoy their energy. And I noticed when I said that there was an immediate change in my mood. Like, wow, all it takes to feel a shift. And that was all it took to feel a shift in my mood. And it dawned on me to reinvent my definition of great. And every day I just started to look for something great to happen to me. So at first, I passed someone in the hallway and that person brought a smile to my face. And then next, I thought about a way that I could start connecting with people at my job. Like, I would ask to be put on certain projects with the people that at work that I found like their energy to be infectious. And that basically like doubled my positive mood, because not only did I get to work with someone I enjoyed, but now I got to work on a project that was like more meaningful to me. And this gave me like the added benefit of elevating that fulfillment at work, which meant that the groove, right, that over and over what I was saying in my head, like, this job sucks, it began to smooth out and eventually like disappear. And I was creating a habit of expectation, right? Meaning like committing every day to looking for something great to happen. That was the expectation. And it might mean for you that like you get the front row parking space, right? Like maybe you have to call customer service for something and someone is actually nice. Like, that could possibly happen. Maybe you went to lunch and had like your favorite meal, right? Like, if you can expect great things to happen today, you will begin to see things as though you've never seen them before. And, before you know it, you're going to build momentum and it's going to be living proof. Believe it or not, this habit of expectations has scientific proof to back it up. So I did a little research, and in the 1960s, a Harvard researcher by the name of Robert Rosenthal developed what's known as the expectation theory, which basically says that our brain reacts to our expectations. In other words, if we expect great things, our brain releases chemicals and reacts as if those great things already happened. So Rosenthal, I'm going to tell you a story. Rosenthal went into like an elementary school and performed IQ tests on the students. And he just selected 3 names from the pile of students and told the teacher that those 3 students were rock star geniuses. But he told the teacher she was not allowed to tell the students or to treat them any differently, right? And then he retested the students at the end of the year. And what do you suppose happened? The IQ of those 3 students increased dramatically. Oh, and by the way, they were not rock star geniuses. They were average students all along. But the teacher's expectations of the students allowed them to outperform, right? And I love sharing this study with leaders to demonstrate that our expectations and beliefs about the people around us can have a dramatic and positive impact on their ability to perform. So just a little background on this habit to happiness is to look at the way that you set up your expectations in life. Expect great things to happen today and expect them to happen every day, right? You have to practice this habit every day so that you get that record needle into a new groove, right? No more negative thoughts. We want to put that record needle into a groove of positive thoughts. And the beauty about this habit is that it doesn't take like any extra time out of your day. It doesn't cost any money, yet it has the potential to be a game changer for your life. So that's my spiel for today. Try it out. Like, what do you have to lose, right? Like, set your expectations to where great things will happen, right? Do it for a week. Do it for a week. Let me know. Send me a DM on IG at Stina Bina and be like, girl, I expected some great things to happen today, and this is what happened. Like, I want to hear what your expectations was. And if you want, look up the expectation theory and look more into it. All right. Okay, friends, I hope this was helpful. Please, 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 can you like and subscribe my podcast just so that I know I'm doing a good job. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.